My son is a name on a bit of paperwork for everyone at the local authority. He is their 9 to 5. They can shut the door and forget about him.
Countless families in Hertfordshire may share the anguish expressed by two Rickmansworth parents who endured years of struggles in securing their son's education. Hertfordshire County Council's failings in providing special educational needs and disability children with education was exposed by an Ofsted report in November. The report noted the council's poor communication with families and delays in preparing the proper education, health and care plans, finding systemic and widespread failings. My Local News sat down with Nisha and Hamal, parents who have suffered 10 years of dealing with the local authority.
Yeah, so we've got a son, his name's Kush. He's got 2 little sisters. Kush was born with a condition called Down syndrome. What that means is that he has pretty extensive learning difficulties and therefore requires a lot of support and a lot of hand-holding as it relates to pretty much everything he does, and especially education.
From the recent report that came out, I think it is quite evident that our local authority and Herts County Council are, I don't think I've even got a word for it, it's absolutely appalling. Everyone has a SEN officer, a special educational needs officer. I didn't know, I knew who mine was by name for 8 years, never had contact, ever. People that we are relying on, that hundreds of families are relying on to help us help our children, are failing us and are failing our children.
You just feel completely discriminated against.
Yeah.
He doesn't get access to education in the same way that a typical child would.
We will fight and we will push, and I will leave no stone unturned until my son gets what he deserves. But it shouldn't have to be like that.
After hearing from more than a dozen affected families, My Local News visited Hertfordshire County Council's Hertford offices to hear from leader of the council, Councillor Richard Roberts.
One of the issues that residents have been bringing up is an issue with communication and waiting sometimes weeks and months to hear back from their SEND officers. So is there anything you're doing as a council to address this?
Yes, I think we started this process last year, coming out of an amazing Ofsted inspection of our safeguarding services when we were found to be outstanding. I spoke to the Director of Children's Services and said, what can we do to improve SEND services? And that's when we decided we would invest £5 million, another £2 million this year, so an extra £7 million in total, and that we think will make the really big difference. We're going to work with our partners closer, but more importantly we want to be responsive to our residents, to families with children with SEND.
It has been reported that each SEND officer has around 400 to 600 children to manage. Is this accurate, and how can it be improved if so?
That is an accurate figure and is an alarming figure, and it's something that we are actively working on, have been for some time. So on the back of that investment that I just mentioned, we had a recruitment campaign before Christmas, and we had 600 applicants for 80 places. And we've set up an academy to make sure that they're not just thrown into work, but actually they're going to be able to learn before they meet parents and before they get to work on their caseloads. And that should reduce the caseloads down to probably about 200.
Residents have cited issues with their education, health and care plans. Firstly, the delay in receiving them, and then also that the measures that are outlined in these plans aren't always followed. Are there any plans to improve this process?
Yes, indeed. And the whole point about our improvement plan following the Ofsted inspection and our investment in the first place is to make sure that we make SEND everybody's business. This can't just be about a few people pulling together the education, the health, the care, and putting that together, and somehow that works. It's got to be all parts of all organisations within the system trying to make sure that parents and their children are at the heart of what we do.
Do you have any overriding messages for the parents and families that have been and are continuing to be affected by the issues in the SEND provision?
Parents want to know that they have confidence in the services that we offer, that the health service the NHS offers, that the schools can cope. I think with the measures that we've taken before the Ofsted inspection, since the Ofsted inspection, we're making great progress. We've put the money where our mouth is, and I really want to reassure particularly our parents with children with SEND that we are there for them, and we will not put money before children. Our children are going to come first.